Welcome, everyone, to the On and Off Topic Podcast, the greatest podcast ever, mind you. Step into the doctor's office while we diagnose what is wrong with the world. I am here, Dr. Road.
That actually sounds rehearsed.
It's well practiced. We've done it a lot. Now you've thrown me off, so thanks for that. Anyway,
You're welcome.
Very fancily dressed today to celebrate Valentine's Day weekend, everyone. Which, I will not be celebrating because I am sad and lonely. Isn't that right, Austin? We're both like that?
Yep, very much so.
Really? Rumor has it that you may have broken the bro code and gone and asked someone to be your Valentine.
Yes.
Now, why would you betray me like that? What's
It literally happened today.
Today? Oh, do spill the news. The whole world is eager to know.
No.
Fine, but we're going to talk about this later.
We'll talk about it later.
To start, we have our lovely segment on football, now titled The Blitz, and then our racing news roundup, now known as...
We got the paddock.
Yeah, whatever that means. I hear it's a racing term, but just because I wear a head...
I literally sent you the literal definition from
yes,
Google.
You're very smart. There's also going to be our discussion on entertainment, specifically the most anticipated film for 2026 on our cinema segment, The Backlot. And finally, step onto our soapbox, or is it our podium? That's up to you. Anyway, today we'll be talking about the politics that should and shouldn't be discussed. Now, to start, we gotta go over, well, everyone's obviously been thinking about the Super Bowl. It was great, wasn't it, Austin?
I didn't watch it.
I know, man. And, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people tuned out after that first half. Only 9 points were scored the entire half, and those were all 3 field goals by the Seattle Seahawks.
That's sad.
New England Patriots were scoreless. I think for the first 3 quarters, actually. Everyone said that the Patriots were frauds, and I didn't entirely believe them because they were still good. Like, they were just about good against every team they played. It just happened that every team sucked. Almost every team they played sucked. The Broncos, I argue, are bigger frauds because they almost lost to the Chiefs' practice squad, essentially, on Christmas. And if you're going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC and struggle against the Chiefs like that when they are severely depleted of resources, you're bigger frauds than the Patriots. The Patriots definitely deserved the Super Bowl over the Broncos. However, that doesn't make them any less than probably second most fraudulent playoff team. And that was clearly displayed when the Seahawks absolutely dominated them with their newly titled Dark Side defense. Now, this here, obviously, you are very in tune with because you are a follower of the Dark Side. So tell me, did you feel any cosmic energy when the Super Bowl was happening?
Again, I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know.
Hey, did you feel any tremors in the Force or anything? I mean, that is literally their thing. The Seahawks, the 12, they're known for being very loud fans.
I didn't feel anything too off, I guess. I mean, not that the Force exists.
Heresy. How dare you. It's alright. Anyway. So
This man drives me nuts.
Okay, but I have useful statistics, like the fact that Kenneth Walker is the first NFL running back to win MVP in the Super Bowl since Terrell Owens, who, most people of your generation probably have never heard of, and he is the guy from the Broncos. Don't look at me like that. He's from the Broncos.
We're from the same generation.
That's semantics to discuss later when we talk about your date. Wink, wink. Anyway, back in 1998, Terrell Owens, I believe it was with the Broncos, and they won the Super Bowl. And so it's been 28 years since a running back has won Super Bowl MVP. Very impressive. Congrats to Kenneth Walker. But that's only because the MVP award can't be given to an entire unit. Otherwise, it probably should have been given to the Seattle defense. Or heck, even Jason Myers, the Seattle kicker, for kicking 15 points of field goals. To be clear, Seattle only scored 29 points the entire night, which means Myers scored more points than the rest of the Seattle team. I mean, that's pretty impressive when you think about it.
Not bad.
Well,
Not
I guess
bad
he
at
also
all.
kicked the extra point on the 2 touchdowns, so that makes 17 points. This guy's wild. He broke the NFL season scoring record like for all time in just one season. Now it's counting postseason. And with that, he broke a record held by LaDainian Tomlinson, running back when he was with the Chargers. And for a kicker to do that, I mean, kickers, they tend to score a lot of points just because of how often they have to go out and kick. But, I mean, overall, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Congrats to Jason Myers on what he did there. Still can't win Super Bowl MVP, though. Poor guy. But yeah,
That's
now
a
that the
shame.
football season is officially over and we have watched the Seahawks win and Sam Darnold redeem his name and become a top 10 quarterback, we got to decide, what are we going to be doing for the rest of the offseason? Because it's only been 2 days, or 3 days, or 4 days. It's been 4 days of offseason at this point.
That's for y'all to figure out.
Yeah, well, I'm here to tell them, actually, Austin. You're welcome. But we have a lot of great ideas. First, we're going to be talking about the draft. There's going to be a lot of things happening soon. The NFL Scouting Combine, then the show days where they show all the stuff and the players. Then there will be free agency. Free agency will hit, and then all the players whose contracts expire with their teams, they'll either re-sign or move to other teams. And that's going to be a lot. It's going to happen around in March or February. Well, it is February, so it must be in March. Anyway, after the free agency, then comes the actual draft in April, and that will be basically the biggest night. We might even be able to do a live reaction to that draft as it's happening. Very excited to see what the Chiefs do with that. Speaking of the Chiefs, we'll be discussing in particular their offseason moves, what they need to do to get back to the top of the food chain, because they have been struggling a lot over this past year, over the past few off seasons, in fact, in bringing in value talent. It's more just these okay players who are just better because they have Patrick Mahomes as their QB or Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, Andy Reid as their head coach, for that matter. And right now, the Chiefs, their biggest issue is that they're $54 million over the cap. That's the approximation. The cap is, the salary cap is how much money you're allowed to spend. F1 has that too, right? Salary caps?
I don't think so.
Well, you'll figure it out later.
Because each driver is paid differently. I think Max is making
They're
like
paid differently.
20. I'll look it up real quick, but I don't think so.
Yeah, you do that, and then basically we're going to go over what the Chiefs need and what they need to do to get it. For example, to get $54 million under the cap so that you're not overspending and incurring penalties from the league, you're going to have to not keep some of the players on your roster. The biggest hit on the salary cap who you could probably release and save a lot of money, sounds like, is probably Jawan Taylor. He's currently the right tackle for the Chiefs. He's attracting a bit of controversy with some NFL fans, not NFL fans, but Chiefs fans, who dislike his affinity for getting penalties, specifically false starts and holding. It's sort of been a penalty magnet, especially back in 2023. I personally think he is a quality right tackle. However, with the penalties and the need to save money, you might be better off trying to draft a right tackle somewhere or elevating Jalen Moore or Essa Pole to the starting right tackle position. Pole was an undrafted rookie last year who filled in very well in the left tackle position, and he could have a bright future with us should we choose to keep him. I hope we do. We need quality depth in the O-line. This year was proof that we did not have that. And Wanya Morris, if I ever see you on a field playing for the Chiefs again, I will riot. Isn't that right, Austin?
Sure.
Yeah, see, he's going to join me with the pitchforks. Anyway, you found anything yet on the rules?
They have a cap they're allowed to spend on their car, but nothing on the drivers. In fact,
Okay, salary cap on the car.
and part of it is due to the two different payments that the drivers get. They get their contract signing payment, and then they also get points payment. So teams will set up, I'll pay you this amount every point you score for the team. So honestly, I'm actually kind of interested to see if Nico Hülkenberg bankrupts Aldi this year.
Okay. Yeah, well.
They're going to pay him
it'll be interesting.
$50,000 a point.
Oh. That's a lot of points.
And with a new Audi car and the amount of experience that man's got,
I mean, it's certainly a possibility. Wow. But anyway, that's F1 news. You wait your turn, my friend. We have one more discussion topic in the football world, and that is the halftime shows. Dun, dun, dun. Now, you probably didn't tune into the Turning Point halftime show because you didn't watch the game.
It's all over Instagram, though.
It's all over
It's
Instagram.
all over Instagram.
Well, both of those halftime shows are over Instagram. I just wasn't sure if your family would want to, tune in for that just based on, you know.
I'm also not home.
Well, it's the weekend. You might have been home. I don't know. College life.
No.
Hashtag. Anyway. So, I watched both of them, Bad Bunny and the basically Kid Rock halftime show. And it's hard to find a clear winner as to what show was really much better than the other because they both had things that were good and they both had weaknesses. But I think the bigger question is, Austin, were conservatives in general overreacting to choose to launch a whole nother halftime show in response to Bad Bunny's choice? Like, there's been picks for halftime show performers that were like a little like, I don't know about them. But like, we've never had this level of, split from the NFL's decision itself.
Also, I don't even know who Bad Bunny is. I've just seen that it was a. All I've seen are the memes where he's just kind of a bad rapper, doesn't actually know what he's doing, and his live performances are fake.
Well, they put a clip video together, a compilation of every time he says A in the halftime show. Not, mind you, the halftime show is about 13, 14 minutes long. And this video is like 2 minutes at least of him just saying A, 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 A. And I think even aside from all of this political stuff, because he has said some really like shoot yourself in the foot political stuff, especially at his Grammy Awards speech where he's, just like everyone else protesting ICE. He's very anti-ICE, very, pro the illegal.
Of course he is.
Immigrants, And it's a sort of thing that you don't really want to see it brought up in entertainment. At least I don't. I think most people would rather, be able to be entertained than have to think about the stuff that they're using entertainment to avoid. I mean, is that a fair assumption, I think?
Typically, yeah.
Right. So, usually when I go into halftime show, I don't want some deep hidden message. And I don't want some overt message either. I just want you to be trying your best to entertain me. And to Bad Bunny's credit, his set design was actually very good. Like, I think it made good use of the space, and it wasn't just like Kendrick Lamar's last year where I think it was just a road. It looked like a road with a car. It just looked very blank, and it made it look like there wasn't a lot of people there, even though it was probably a similar amount, if not the same amount of backup dancers as they usually have at these shows. But Bad Bunny's was like basically a maze of, sugarcane, grass? I don't know. And there were people wearing grass costumes, and they made some pretty good money for standing around as grass. Makes me sort of wish that I was grass during the Super Bowl. Like if you could say, "Hey, Grandpa, what did you do back in the day?" "Oh, me? I was grass during the Super Bowl." I feel like that'd be a bit of an impressive flex. But
I mean, that'd be interesting. You point out, I was that bushel right there.
Yeah, but I mean, the presentation wasn't bad, and the artisticness was good. I appreciated that. And when I watched the show at first, I'm like, it seems like he's trying to do some sort of wholesome message about we are all America, and we love all of America. And when he's referring to America, he's not referring to United States of America. He's referring to North and Central and South America. And I'm like, well, Michael Jackson is arguably the GOAT of music, and his Super Bowl halftime show, that was actually the first one that was ever really using a big star. Before him in Super Bowl 27, the biggest star they had was Ella Fitzgerald. Most people don't even know who that is anymore. But yeah, it was mostly like marching bands and all that sort of stuff. The NFL converted to big-time stars with the biggest star back in 27. He just stands there aura farming for like 5 minutes. But anyway, Michael Jackson's halftime show also had some ideas of, we are the world, we are the children. That's his song, like basically we want to help the kids, do good in the world. But I don't know, I just feel like Michael Jackson's a bit more wholesome. And then you understand what he's saying, especially in his lyrics. Bad Bunny, his show, if you just watch it, as your average Super Bowl viewer who speaks English, then you're going to think, oh yeah, I mean, it's a show. He's clearly, probably left leaning because he's got one of those slogans, the only thing more powerful than hate is love, and he's waving all these flags, and so you can still walk away from thinking, oh well, he just wanted to be wholesome. It's a little, eye roll a little, but it's nothing too harmful. Then you don't listen to the lyrics because he's sort of mumbling them. And if you speak Spanish, you know what he's saying. But since most of the people speak English, you don't even know. However, I looked up these lyrics. This man, his songs that he's sung, he didn't sing. He can't sing either. There was no musical rhythm. Like I love rap.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah,
that's
Super
what I've
56. Seen. Was a great halftime show because it had like Dr. Dre and Eminem and Snoop Dogg. They had rhythm. They had good music to back them up. And, we knew what they were saying. We could appreciate the words that they were saying because they were used in a creative way. It was a lovely use of the English vocabulary. And that's what I think makes rap so cool, is that there's almost a certain level of eloquence and poetry and creativity that you don't necessarily see in every song made these days. Especially pop music can be very bland, very basic. But you don't get that same experience when you're listening to Spanish rappers. And I'm not going to say that all Spanish rap is horrible. Again, if the music is strong and, the words still, they sound good together, then that can override that problem. Daddy Yankee's very popular. I enjoy him too. Then Luis Fonsi with his Despacito. Daddy Yankee was actually in that one too. A lot of the words, they just flow very well. Like, suave, suavecito. Oh, I like it. But Bad Bunny, he doesn't have good music. He doesn't say his stuff clearly enough for me to understand it. And I don't get it. Still.
Also, I think there is a big side to argue, like, you are in a predominantly English-spoken country for a essentially exclusively English-spoken sport, and you're going to be rapping in Spanish.
Which, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but
it's not the end of the world. But it's like you probably
like if you're gonna make it rapping in Spanish, at least make it a good Spanish experience. Like a lot of these this is like in halftime shows we don't do that a whole lot. So try to make it pleasant for people so they don't think that Spanish sucks. Because I promise you, Spanish is a very nice language, but he makes me hate that language, and I want to learn that language. Well, okay, that's a bit of an overstatement, I suppose, but still, it wasn't something that truly.
It wasn't good.
Clicked. I think it levels just at that good, like that. It's not great, but it's good. It's good enough. I'm gonna tolerate it. Just don't.
It's all right, like.
Yeah, overrated, but the problem is the lyrics and what they actually mean. Basically, he's just, what if sex was a song? And I'm like, okay, put aside the fact that, obviously, even in English, we do this a lot with our halftime performers, and they'll do a lot of, dance, and they're getting down on it, but either way, I think his stuff is arguably more explicit than anything else, but here's the thing. Why would he sing that if he didn't think he was going to be able to get away with it? See, no one was going to know what he was saying. So the fact that he said it on live television in a Super Bowl show where, it's like the most streamed, most watched event, it shatters everything else in television. And you have the Super Bowls that are always watched that much. And you think you can say this in front of all sorts of people. Crazy people, normal people, families, and single people. This very explicit song, you're only going to say that live if you are confident no one's going to know what you're saying, that it's primarily going to be English people listening, and they're going to be all fine with it. And if you are singing it to inspire and hoping that, young kids can see you and be inspired, why the heck are you singing these songs to young kids? What was the logic there? Maybe it's the mumbling. Maybe he's just hoping that no one understands what he's actually saying because it's just like, and so no one really knows. Like, Like, do you think that the fact that these songs are so explicit, but he did them anyway, like, does that imply that he's like, I know it's just an English audience, and that's why I'm going to do it? Do you think there's any correlation there? It's hard to say. But either way, I think that if we, just look over at the Turning Point halftime show, that we can also see that it wasn't exactly necessarily better on the other side, because Kid Rock was not a bad choice. He certainly had a lot of the star power, but a lot of the other people were just, they were fine. They weren't mad. They just, when I'm watching a halftime show, as I expect most people are, you want to see something that, wows you, that blows you away, that gives you a sense of, now this was an event. This was an event specifically made for the biggest and the best show on earth. Because that's what the Super Bowl halftime show should be, I believe. There we go. Now, the question here is there really a better show, or are they just both sort of levels of mid? What do you think?
I didn't watch either, so
I forgot. All right. Well, I guess in response, I would say Turning Point, you didn't really need to do a halftime show. The viewership was fine. It was like, 5-6 million people, but in the end, Bad Bunny's show got more people because, let's face it, if they didn't want to watch the show, all they really had to do was just not watch it. That's it's a halftime show.
Yeah.
A lot of people just use that as break time to go do other stuff anyway. So maybe this Turning Point thing was just a superfluous statement piece. Maybe they felt, after the death of Charlie Kirk, that they thought, we got to make a statement. They were just feeling a bit more, not incentivized, but spurged to do something. Because, in the end, the choice of Bad Bunny is part of a culture war, I think. Now, for the NFL, I believe they only chose him because of the business angle of growing the audience and the idea that, football fans such as myself are too in love with our NFL franchise, the Chiefs, to ever leave unless they turn it into flag football. And so it's all about growing the audience. I don't think they truly care that much about these events and the big news stories. You want the business, you want the money. And so that makes sense. But at least
is what it is.
It was better than the Maroon 5 halftime show, which I believe will go down as the worst halftime show ever, which is a shame because Maroon 5 was one of my favorite artists growing up. But goodness gracious, that halftime show was bad. One of these days, Austin, you and I, we're going to do a top 10 best Super Bowl halftime shows and a mention of the worst one. And it's going to be Maroon 5. I'm still watching through.
We'll see.
But right now I have Dr. Dre and Co., Usher and Michael Jackson, those people in my top circle. Then we got the mids, The Weeknd and Rihanna, and then way down there is Maroon 5. But we'll figure out all the details about that later. Anyway, now we have a very other interesting subject to talk about: our most anticipated movies of 2026. Now, Austin, you don't watch movies, but are you anticipating?
Not really. Aside from Doomsday, I don't really care to watch anything else.
Well, I guess that's fair. I've categorized it for us a bit in what I call the mountain of movies in the backlot. We have a mountain in the backlot of the studio, and it's the mountain of movies, movie mountain, if you will. And basically we have movies that are ascending the mountain, We're not super thrilled on them, but they with the right publicity and the right success, if they're good, then we'll watch them and maybe they'll make the top 10 list by the end of the year. Then you have near the top of the mountain, those movies that I'm definitely excited about. These are movies I gotta go see. And then there's the pinnacle that's the top. You don't get more anticipated, you don't get more excited than this. So my ascending the mountain. First one is The Mummy. They're making another Mummy?
Are they really?
Yeah, that's it. How many of these have they made? I feel like it's been 5 at least.
Probably.
That I've heard of. But, I don't know, 15 or 20 total? Because it was Universal movies, and those really old ones. And then there was the Brendan
The old
Fraser
ones were good.
series. The Brendan Fraser ones had there was like 4 movies related to the Mummy there. Then there was the Tom Cruise one that everyone hates. And now there's this one. But Universal also announced they're making another Brendan Fraser Muppet movie for 2028. So 2028 is going to have a bunch of old people, Brendan Fraser and Vin Diesel, because Fast and Furious, the 11th one, Fast Forever, should finally be releasing in 2028 because apparently no one wants to release that movie, even though I've been waiting for it for 3 years now. It's going to be 5 by the time it comes out. But yeah, actually, even though it is another Mummy film, I think if they do it right, it could be the first genuinely, not first, but one of the first genuinely frightening Mummy films in a long time. You know, because, I don't know, something about the poster and the way they have the description. I mean, it intrigues me, you know? That's why it's ascending to that. Then you have Sheep Detectives. Please tell me you've heard of this one. It's a guy, Hugh Jackman is a shepherd, and he reads his sheep murder mysteries, and then he's murdered, and the sheep work together to solve the mystery.
What has this world come to?
Okay, but this could genuinely be so much fun. Like,
I mean, yes,
don't tell me
but
it couldn't be
like,
intriguing.
I have no words. I'm nope.
I think it's great. But as far as superhero movies go, we have 3: Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Avengers Doomsday. You know, Avengers Doomsday, based on the first 3 trailers, I think it was. Because there was the... Captain
Thor.
America will return, then Thor will return.
Captain America.
And then, who was the third trailer? X-Men. And then it was Wakanda and Fantastic Four. From just the first 3 trailers, I would have put Avengers Doomsday as a top of the mountain movie. And then they had to remind me that they made Marvel phases 4 through 5. And that sort of just turned me off to the whole idea. And it's like, I really like what you did with Captain America and Thor. Well, I like the Thor and the X-Men angle. I'm not sure about
Bringing Captain America back is sketchy.
It's a choice. We all sort of expected it after Endgame that he was going to be back at some point. And Marvel could have taken the high road and just, you know, subverted our expectations. But they went back to Captain America because they were desperate to, you know, make back their money and their success. And that's
essentially
replicate what they did before.
You've got the big 5 and all their contracts expired. Marvel tried continuing without them, failed, and I just have the original 5. You couldn't live with your own failure. Where did you bring that back to me?
Big 5. Are you excluding Hawkeye just because he's the only one with a Disney Plus series instead of a movie?
Yeah, and also, I mean, do we really need Jeremy Renner?
I liked the Hawkeye show, and I think Jeremy Renner's a good actor.
I haven't actually watched the Hawkeye show yet.
Oh, yeah, well...
But I've heard mixed reviews.
Well, yeah, it's not a perfect show, and Kingpin probably hasn't handled the best that he could have been. However, considering all the Disney Plus shows that I had watched that year that weren't good, like WandaVision, Captain America, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, and whatnot, and the first season of What If, which wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, Hawkeye was just like, oh, we're having a genuinely Christmas Marvel project. You know, it's about Hawkeye wanting to be with his family. What? A family man allowed in a Marvel show? What is this? But it was nice. It was nice. It was sweet. I liked it. And then, of course, you have Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is either going to be a really good Spider-Man movie or is going to somehow have the same issues as Spider-Man No Way Home, which is overcrowding of big characters, which wasn't supposed to happen because it's supposed to be a street-level film. And now we have the Hulk, we got the Punisher, probably got Daredevil, and Jean Grey, according to rumors.
I actually do think, I think Daredevil's supposed to be in it.
I mean, how could you have the Punisher and not have Daredevil?
They're just gonna randomly throw in Jean Grey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because why not?
Sadie Sink from
why
Stranger
not?
Things, the show that I refuse to talk about. Anyway, they're also talking about putting Matt Gargan as the Scorpion. He's played by Michael Brando, I think his name is. Michael Brando, very great actor from Better Call Saul. And I'm like, that's a choice. Because Scorpion is not a villain I know a whole lot about. and is not one that I'm like, ooh, it's the Scorpion. Not like, Green Goblin, who everyone knows all about and loves to
He
see.
he's not that. Obviously, he hasn't been in any of the movies, but and I haven't read many comics with him. I don't think he's in the comics a lot, but he's in the video game,
Oh,
and
really?
he's like the Scorpion in the video game is actually pretty dope.
He's in the Spider-Man Web Slinger comic, the one with the Western Spider-Man.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, he's
I haven't read it.
I think it's El Scorpion or something, also known as Garganza. And I thought, well, they had a genuinely different Western representation of him. you know who the you know what they call Doc Ock in the Western Spider-Man?
I don't. I don't
Okay,
know.
he's called Doc Ock Holiday. I think for those of us who appreciate Western, specifically Tombstone, one of the greatest Westerns of all time, that's a good reference. I appreciate it. But yeah, you're gonna have Tombstone, you're gonna have Scorpion. It'll either be a really good movie, really bad. Same with Supergirl. I think it'll either be a step up from Superman because they've tried the whole Superman formula and it didn't work well for him. It might work well for Supergirl, especially since James Gunn isn't actually directing this movie. And Supergirl can actually fit this vibe of, this party gal who is struggling with her life and's depressed and isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I think that could be really good for James Gunn's style in general, and since he's still overseeing the project, that's important to take into account. And, second of all, Superman, I think, was just taken a little bit too far in terms of the worst habits of James Gunn. I mean, you didn't watch Superman, I don't think, did you?
No,
No?
I
Okay,
haven't.
well,
I I've I've wanted
kind
to. I
of.
just never had time to go to the theaters.
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't watch it. I mean, I wanted to, and then I just decided, oh, well, it's getting fine reviews, so I might just wait to watch it until it comes out later. And then I learn more of the full story, the plot, the details. And I'm like, I might prefer Man of Steel over this, which is saying a lot because I don't even like Man of Steel that much. I don't know. I feel like it was a little too on the nose, but also it did too much and sometimes not enough at the same time. It was a very strange movie. However, Supergirl, if it can be a bit more simplistic, just take this idea: Supergirl helping another girl get revenge for the death of her father. Also, Jason Momoa as Lobo. I don't know. I like it. I like this idea, and I hope it's good because it'd be nice to have a
I
good.
I've seen the trailers with Jason Momoa as Lobo, and I actually think Jason Momoa's gonna do a really good job with this. I'm very excited to see how
Yeah,
that comes
I mean,
out.
he did good with Aquaman. He was just in a bad franchise, but
Also had a
for
bad
him,
co-star, but
yeah, for him to be so good that they offered him another role, for him to get to say, "I played Aquaman and Lobo." I mean, not many people get to say that, and I'm sure he appreciates it a lot because Lobo is also, I think, a character he really wanted to play, but he didn't think he'd ever get to because he was busy with Aquaman.
and also I mean Lobo's just like
Cooler.
Lobo's cooler, but I also think he fits Jason Momoa a little bit more than Aquaman. Don't get me wrong, he did do a great job with Aquaman.
No,
But
but you're
Jason
right.
Momoa's also very, very chaotic, and he just likes to have fun. Like, he just likes to have fun.
That's fair, yeah. And that's just how some people are. And good for him. I think he'll do a good job with the performance at least. Top of the mountain. First up, we have a movie that is coming out in just a few weeks now, Scream 7. Yes, there's going to be a seventh one of these. Probably an eighth one.
Why?
Well, see, the seventh movie was supposed to basically complete a trilogy of Scream 5 and 6, but then Melissa Barrera made some comments about Palestine and Israel that got her fired, and Jenna Ortega had to drop out because she was busy with Wednesday. But, why the heck would you drop out of Scream for Wednesday Season 2? I watched Wednesday Season 2. It looks like it was written by AI, and it's dumb, it's stupid. Sold, Jenna. You sold.
That sounds. I enjoyed Wednesday season 1. I was looking forward to getting around to watching season 2. I just don't have
I
Netflix,
don't even
so
like Season 1 all that much. I bought it only
it's
for
season 1.
I bought it so I could have a monopoly on the Addams Family content. Like I own the original series, the two movies from the '90s. I refuse to buy the animated movies though because they're trash.
The animated movies are trash. They're so bad.
But Scream 7 basically is going to return to the Sidney Prescott story, which we haven't really seen since Scream 4 back in 2011, 15 years ago. Can you believe that was 15 years ago?
Was it really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That makes me feel old.
Yeah, but we're doing Sidney Prescott. Well, now Sidney Evans. She has a daughter, and Ghostface wants to kill the whole Sidney's family, all of them. And at this point, I wonder if perhaps this idea has already been done a bit. You know, the original victim now is a kid. Now they got to protect him from a new killer. Now with this Ghostface, they could do some new things. I mean, they're bringing back people from original Scream movies who are definitely dead.
So essentially, they're trying to just namesake.
Well, we
and nostalgia.
We don't know to what extent that they're back. So it could be just that the Ghostface is known for having a voice changer, so it could be that he's just using the voices of these other characters like he did in Scream 3. So, or, because we have the voice of Stu Macher, there's been a conspiracy theory from fans for years that Stu's not dead, even though he had a TV dropped on his head. So, some people think...
I mean, I would think that'd kill someone, especially the kind of TV that got dropped on his head. Those are kind of heavy.
Yeah, well, they also, in Scream 6, had a discussion about, if you believe that Stu's really dead, which to me was setting up him returning. Now, that was from a different creative team who made Screams 5 and 6, and Scream 7 is a creative overhaul. They had to bring in different people to do the whole thing. A lot of people from the original 4 Scream movies, actually. But with that being said, I don't think Stu's going to come back alive, even though I think it'd be really cool to see. I don't think it makes that much sense, within the context of what happened in the first movie and as well as, just what the creative vision's going to be. I am excited to see it. This is going to be the first Scream movie that I see in theaters. We're going opening night, baby. It's going to be great. And then we also have the Super Mario Galaxy movie. You liked the first.
Oh yeah, that's right. That I actually do kind of want to go watch that.
Yeah, see, it's gonna be great.
I forgot they're doing that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the first Mario movie wasn't
That'd
exactly
be fun.
It wasn't exactly a cinematic masterpiece, but it was fun, right? I mean, people enjoyed watching it, which I think is more than you can say for a lot of movies. It's just the bright, colorful, enjoyable. I mean, there was a good message in it. It just wasn't delivered a lot. It was just more about enjoy the Mario stuff. And now they're going to do Mario Galaxy where we're going to enjoy the Mario stuff. But I'm all right with that because they present it in a way that, it still has a story you can follow along, even if it's not super deep. And, they're all having fun with it. I think it's going to be a good time, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be... I don't know. Mario Galaxy it's very complex and it's got a very big open world, so it is going to be very interesting to see how it's handled and turned into a movie, especially when you add in the character of Rosalina and the stars and
is she important?
All of that.
I mean, I had a feeling she's sort of important, but people seem to be very excited.
There's a big theory that she's actually Mario's daughter in canon, in the games at least. And that Peach is her mother, or maybe Daisy's her mother, and actually Mario and Daisy are a thing instead. And there's a rabbit hole.
They're not doing
there's
that.
A rabbit hole.
Guarantee you that.
No, but there's a rabbit hole.
Wow.
And it gets deep, but there's a big theory that Rosalina is at least Mario's daughter or Peach's daughter. At least one of theirs.
I don't know how that would work, and I don't really want to know. So...
It gets weird, bro.
Anyway.
It gets weird.
Right. Moving on to our next movie, we have one from the greatest director of all time, Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day. Now, he's returning to Aliens, which he loves having alien movies, like E.T., which I don't think he directed, but he did, his Amblin company produced it, at least. And then he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Not everyone knows about, but I think that it's still arguably a good movie. Well, not arguably. It is a good movie. Oh no, Steven Spielberg did direct E.T. Why am I so stupid, Austin? Explain that to me.
I could, but I might get canceled for my specific answer.
Wow. But anyway, he loves space, you know? And so he's going to make another movie about space. But here's the thing. His original space movies were made like in the 80s and the 70s. And that's when he was more of a, ooh, look at the world. It's so full of wonder. And he looked at it through the eyes of a child. And then starting in like the 90s, and not even from the 90s, I wonder if Schindler's List broke him. Because he made Schindler's List. And it feels like all he's ever done since then has been these more adult, mature movies. And it also has to do with the fact he got divorced around that time. But it just feels like he's never quite returned to that childlike wonder. There has been wonder with his movies West Side Story in 2021 and The Fabelmans in 2022. But it feels more wondrous almost from the perspective of like an adult that you're seeing that. And it's not this childlike sense. And maybe he's just, his life experiences have
His movies are aging with us.
with him.
I mean, yeah, but still. I mean, you go from watching him as a kid, and they're, kid stories, and now you're an adult, and now it's about, dealing with a gambling addiction.
If you count kids' stories as dinosaurs eating people and sharks eating people and aliens abducting people.
I mean, you didn't watch those growing up as a child when you were 6?
Of course I did.
Exactly. There you go.
Every time you were on the bus, right? What is it?
Our little trips and destinations.
Right, but every time they said PG movies only, and we would say Jaws, they said no. That's
yeah. I mean, bro, like, come on, it's a PG. It's a PG-13
Jaws
movie. Like, it's
Jaws discrimination should not stand.
like it.
It's the greatest PG movie ever.
It was wonderful. It was great. Like, come on, it's totally appropriate for a bunch. I mean,
perfectly.
I mean, I watched that when I was like 5, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, I didn't watch it for a while.
And I watched the Terminator movies around the same time, because my mom was just like, "Yeah, sure, I'll just let my sons rent those from the library."
And now she's like, Disney is evil.
Yeah.
That's certainly interesting. But anyway, few details have been released about Disclosure Day. I think the idea of it is there's this guy who wants to expose all the government's information on UFOs to the whole world all at once. And then there's also some weird stuff going on. It might take some notes from Arrival, that movie by Denis Villeneuve or whatever. I don't know how you say his name. But, a very more serious extraterrestrial film. I'm still excited to see it. I believe that Spielberg will keep putting out gems until he proves me otherwise. And then finally, at the top of the mountain, we have Werewolf, Robert Eggers movie. If anyone here has seen Nosferatu, The Northman, or The Lighthouse, those were all Robert Eggers films. Nosferatu, I think, should have at least had the chance to win the quintuple crown. The best director, best film, best actor, best actress, and best script, I believe it is. It's either script or score. And that's like the big 5 of Oscars. And it was robbed. But that's for another day. Anyway, Eggers, he's very focused on, old films that are set in old times. Not too far up. No farther than like the first half of the 20th century, I think he said. And now he's going to talk about werewolves after dealing with vampires. And this could be a serious hit. Do I think it's going to be as good as Nosferatu? Probably not. Nosferatu was really good. Like, go watch it. It's so good. But I think it's going to be good enough that it's going to keep just saying, hey, Eggers is a very auteur filmmaker. He deserves to be given all the credit in the world. And give this man some money. Austin, did you watch any of his films?
I don't believe I have.
Well, go watch Nosferatu. You're missing out.
What if I don't want to?
Well, I told you to, so go do it. Anyway, the pinnacle, the top movie. Actually, it's top 2 movies because I couldn't choose. First of all, we have Dune Part 3. You like Dune, right?
I've watched the first half of the first one, and that's it.
Oh my gosh. Go watch it. And Dune Part 2 is better anyway. it builds on the first part and makes it good. Anyway, Dune Part 3 isn't actually going to be based on the Dune book. It's based on the second book, Dune Messiah, and it's actually set 12 years after the events of the first book, so I'm not quite sure why they're doing Part 3 so soon. But, far be it from me to complain about getting more Dune this soon. I thought I was going to have to wait like 8 more years for this stuff, and that would never have been all right with me.
They can't do that because Timothy Chalamet will be too old by then.
He's supposed to be old. The problem is he hasn't aged. The man still looks like a child. He's got to be like, what, 20-something by now? I mean,
yeah, kinda.
Here, hold on a sec. Look at this. Look at my new vinyl album. Let's see, that's him. He looks really young, childlike. That's him as Bob Dylan. It's the first vinyl I ever bought. Probably the last vinyl I'll ever buy, because I don't really do vinyls. But I thought, since it was in honor of Bob Dylan, who was big in the '60s, it was worth the $40. Why do vinyls cost $40? It's very weird, I think.
Because, I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's just kind of expensive, I guess. Who knows?
Whatever. Anyway, if you haven't seen the first 2 Dunes, you have like 10 months to go watch it. Do it. It's going to be part of Doomsday. Not Doomsday, Doomsday. That's what we're calling it now, because Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3 are releasing on the same day. So we have a Barbenheimer event. And if this Doomsday thing goes through, like if this is an actual trend, then it's going to help both movies significantly to gain more money and impact at the box office. And I'm excited. Anyway, final one, we have The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next movie. This is going to be my early pick for 2026 Best Picture. Nolan is just a genius. He hasn't really ever had a bad film. Like, a lot of people don't like Tenet. Guys, Tenet is wild. It's amazing, and it's intensely imaginative, and just a lot. There's a lot that goes into that. But anyway, The Odyssey, I'm super excited. Matt Damon's a great actor, and there's a lot of people in there, and I'm not going to list them all off, but it's basically the standard Nolan cast, plus or minus a few new additions. But even though I haven't read the book, I intend to read the book, so the intent is there at least. Awesome. Have you read The Odyssey?
I have, yeah. It's pretty good.
All right. Did you ever listen to Epic? That's like the musical, well, the concept musical.
I think I have.
Oh well.
Can't remember.
Talk about that eventually. Anyway, time for the podium. We'll step onto our little soapbox to help, get tall enough to be on the podium, so we can talk about the politics of the day. So, did you know that it's Black History Month, Austin? Did you know
I was, in fact, I was aware of that fact, yes. I mean, it's only publicized everywhere.
Yeah, well, it came about that it happened to happen again. Funny that they put it on the shortest month of the year. Austin, do you think that people are, racist for giving blacks only 28 days?
They get 28 days, but I think that's 28 more than literally everyone else.
I don't know. Pride Month, they get 30 days, so...
Well, I mean, yeah, but, those are mentally unstable people.
Whoa! You can't say that on live air! Are you in...
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
But there's a difference. There's a difference between the two.
Alright, well, just... Anyway, Black History Month came around, y'all, and since that has happened, there has been a certain controversial X post that has since been removed. It was the part that everyone's highlighting is a part where the Obamas, like their heads are like digitally added to some apes, and then everyone's like, Trump is a literal racist. He did it on Black History Month on purpose. This was evil, and he's cooked. He's done. But as it turns out, this is a small clip that showed up at the end of a different video about something else. So what it appears to be, from what I have seen, is that it was a mistake that someone was screen recording and somehow screen recorded the Obamas as apes from a different video as part of that main video and then released the whole thing. So someone probably needs to be fired if that's what happened. Because, like, can't slip up like that. I mean, set aside the fact that it's, caused all of this ruckus. It's non-professional. Don't appreciate it. But I find it very funny that everyone went off about this little clip at the end of a completely different video that can be explained away. I mean, pretty believably. Like, do I think it could have been done on purpose? Of course it could have, but, like, benefit of the doubt, and it seems to be more of an accident. What do you think?
No, there's a lot that can be said without any real evidence, and then even if there is evidence brought up, I mean, you can either fake it or just say it's not real. I mean, I don't have much opinion on it at the moment, just because there's still so much, like, are we sure this isn't just people being people? And like, it's
do you
just,
think it
yeah.
really matters? Like,
Honestly,
not to say
I
that
don't.
it doesn't matter at all, but do you think it should take as much relevance as it did take last week in the grand scheme of things, of things that are going on in our day and age?
Honestly, I don't think this is something people should be crying about.
Well, perhaps something
It's
that
like
should be getting more attention, or given proper attention. Not pro. I don't know what to say. The Epstein files. The Epstein files have been released, more and more as time goes on. We've had, I think it's like 3,000 pages, or is it 3 million? I don't know. There's a lot of pages and there's a lot of files, and they're releasing them like a little bit at a time, which is probably good of them. It's like it's not going to flood you with all the information at once. It's just a little bit at a time. Everyone gets to sift through this batch, that batch, that batch. And the details in some of these are too gruesome, and I have not delved deep into them because I do not want to have night terrors. Suffice to say, from the few things I have seen, these guys seem fairly messed up. Now, if your name is in the files, if you talk about something in the files, that's not conclusive proof of anything. Because, I mean, if you could go to jail from one document, then, like, I feel like that wouldn't be a good idea. But these files are starting to make people ask questions about everyone. Like, it's come to the point where some people are saying, hey, maybe anarchy is not a bad option, or just tearing the entire system down to get rid of everyone involved, because if we got rid of everyone involved, it would just wipe out the whole system as it is. And some people are like, good, take it down. Have you, to what extent are you familiar with what's been happening with the Epstein files?
I've been keeping up with it regular. I myself haven't read them, but I keep up with the news sources that essentially give me the run through of what's been released and what's going on. And I mean, absolutely, this is completely messed up stuff. And like, brother, why?
Did you
But
know that it's Alex Jones, right? The conspiracy theory guy. Well, he might have been right about the frogs. Made the friggin' frogs gay.
I did see some of that.
As it
Yeah.
turns out, there's actually a chemical that in the water has been shown to make the frogs gay to an extent. Like effeminate or cast.
Yeah.
But like, if this guy's right about the frogs, what else is he right about?
But I mean, I've seen a lot of that, and then a lot of the stuff in the Epstein files is actually kind of. Michael Jackson got so much hate, and there are so many theories that he was actually a pedophile and doing things to kids. And with the release of the Epstein files, turns out no, he was actually taking the children to his Neverland place to keep them away from Epstein.
Yeah, wanted to keep him to himself. Okay, look,
Brother.
I don't know. I don't know about what Michael Jackson did or didn't do. I know he was known for a lot of his humanitarian work as well, especially with the We Are the World, We Are the Children. Like I said earlier with the Super Bowl halftime show. I will say, during that show, he did seem to be particularly fond of one specific child, which seemed a little odd to me. So I don't know to what degree that's true about Michael Jackson, but the fact that he's not mentioned as doing anything in the files, I mean, that's got to count for something at least, right?
Yeah, it's definitely got to say something. And
Yeah,
but there
we need to have some sort of talk about Bill Gates too.
there are so many people there who's like, that is very interesting, but also not surprising. But
about pandemics back in 2017, and then 2 years later, COVID becomes a
yeah.
thing. Now, far be it for me to say, hey, this one guy had one simulation or 2 years earlier. He's guilty. But it is an interesting correlation. And
there's just a whole bunch of sketchy stuff going on lately.
What is it about the Jews? Like, everyone's been saying that the files have been showing that we can't, we shouldn't trust the Jews as much, or, be as supportive of them and Israel in general. But, like, okay, stop laughing. This is a serious question, okay? It's, like, just... Okay, help me out here.
I'm sorry, it was so random. I'm sorry. It was just out of nowhere. So what are we gonna do about the Jews, though?
Jew. Maybe we should ask Alex.
But
Maybe he knows.
I mean, I don't know how much of this is real. I don't know how much of it is just propaganda going on right now. There's a lot of controversy around Israel and the Jews currently, and how much there's a lot of theory that they run the American government, and it's just a whole bunch of wild right now.
Yeah, part of the problem is they're releasing all the files like they said they would, but they can't. It's not like, hey, we're only releasing the files that we've confirmed are accurate, and if there's a file that's a straight up lie and they already know it, I mean, they still have to release it, right? Under what's been going on.
Yep. And there's just, yeah.
So basically, it's probably too early to draw definitive conclusions. That's not to say that we shouldn't do extreme investigations extremely immediately. Like, jump on this, get on the stick with this, guys. I mean, far be it from me to say, hey, been waiting a long time, because I didn't know we were waiting for a while, because I was a child, so I didn't really know what was going on. But I think that this definitely calls for some more attention, some more investigation. Earlier, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but, our favorite representative in Congress, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, had some comments about the Epstein files. They were like, how do you think it's been going along? She's like, I think it's been the greatest cover-up in American history. I don't know if those were exactly, but she made it very explicit. She considered it a cover-up. I'm like, cover-up? Really? You think this is a cover-up? These releasing of the files? I don't understand how you can consider this as bad as not doing anything about them or talking about them at all when Biden was president. Now, I get it. Biden didn't probably remember who Jeffrey Epstein was. But still, he had the files. And he had all of his advisors around him who were the real ones controlling him, essentially. They didn't want to release the files. And it's been said before, and I feel like I was going to say it again. I believe that if anything was credible against Donald Trump, then surely it would have been out by now. Surely they would have released it by now, right? If you have access to those files and you don't want this guy to win, surely you get that out there, right?
I mean, that would be the theory, yeah. I mean, essentially politics is now just stabbing each other and seeing who gets more hate.
I think it's also about a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff of who has what dirt on who. And that might be part of it, too. But, I don't understand all the outrage about the Epstein files and say it's a cover-up, they're not being released fast enough, no one cares about them. My people, I want to remind you that you didn't even know the extent of the Epstein files a year ago. And people weren't even talking about it that much. I wasn't talking about it that much. I didn't know it was a priority. I didn't know we had Epstein files.
I mean, essentially, until this year, when they finally started releasing them,
and Trump,
all anyone was told was, these are so horrendous and have so many big figures, we legally cannot release these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't really a conversation until Trump said, hey, I'm going to run on a lot of promises, including releasing the Epstein files. And People were getting on him after like a number of months that, oh, it hasn't come out yet. Where's the files? Why haven't you done it yet? And I'm just like, people, I get it. It can feel like a long time. You know what else is a long time? 4 years. 4 years is a long time to not release stuff. So I think there has to be some degree of patience. We have to say, this is not proof of guilt, but it's very not going well for you. And everything that you've been doing to these children that we're not going to talk about on this podcast, but everything that these people have been doing to the children, we know stuff did happen. We don't know definitively who did it. In fact, there is a story, I don't know if it's true, but it's unconfirmed for the time being, that Trump actually may have called the police on Epstein at one point.
Yeah, they're now coming out and saying that Trump was not there for the Epstein parties, but he was there as an FBI agent who was just getting information. I mean, to be fair, I will say this. He did seem to be fairly close in what we've seen in the media, but there's no proof that he was actually there doing anything.
Right. And if you're in the media, I mean, you can make anything look like how you want it to, including.
And I mean that.
Trump's a businessman. He knows how to do image.
And also, I mean, just yeah. Also, just to be, you've got to feel bad for all the celebrities who might have ever visited or just been in a picture with Epstein, let alone visited his island, not knowing anything going on, and now they're tied to all of this because of one selfie they took or something, right?
And that's not to say that all these celebrities are like great people, but like obviously you don't want to be tied to that. Like no one who took part in that deserves to be tied to that stuff. Obviously. And that's why I say we can't jump to immediate, you are guilty. But it does need to be an immediate response. There needs to be some level of, let's get on the investigation. Let's try to figure out what's going on, who's been doing this, and, confirm what we can. And I think that's fair. Fair to everyone, innocent until proven guilty, but the proof. Not only
unfortunately we have the saying innocent until proven guilty, but we're all treated guilty until proven innocent.
The court of public opinion is the most dangerous thing you can have, I think. Because I think we saw that with especially the police officer in the George Floyd incident, who was ruled responsible in court for George Floyd's death, right? And I don't think it really mattered what anyone came to conclusion to in that court. He was already guilty, according to the public. No one was going to give him a fair shot at being released. And I think that trial result was probably predetermined. They said, hey, everyone's going to riot if this guy is not put in jail. So, unfortunately, we have to cut this guy off for the sake of any form of peace. And I think that's unfortunate.
I mean, there still wasn't any, but...
Yeah, I'm just saying. Sometimes when it comes to people who are willing to be a mob and just riot and commit all sorts of violence and, especially the summer of love in 2020, it becomes harder to be able to feel like you can do justice fairly. Or that, you can get a fair trial in court. But does it really matter if you're just going to go home to everyone trying to get at you and maybe even kill you? I mean, the Eagles' offensive coordinator last year, Kevin Patullo, had bricks thrown at his house for being a bad offensive coordinator. Like, if you're in Philly, get out. Because these people are insane. If people will do that for football, then just imagine what happens when they're that worked up about political stuff. It is insane world we live in.
Kimmy Antonelli was literally getting death threats on social media because he had a lockup on his tires and Norris happened to pass him. He was getting death threats so bad he had to turn off his Instagram account for a while.
Bad Bunny turned off his too.
Like,
Nobody said why.
people get crazy. People get crazy.
But here's the thing. I feel like Bad Bunny has been glazed by the media. Just, oh yes, this is what America needed. This is representation. Representation. This is the message that, everyone, we're all America. And love.
As the message is, Taco Bell, quesadilla, jalapeno. That's the message of America.
I was going to say that as far as celebrity praise, the official Elmo account from Sesame Street decided to get in on the action and glaze Bad Bunny. To say, oh, Bad Bunny, you're so good.
That's
You should be
awesome.
called Good Bunny because you were so good.
That's awesome.
And I thought Elmo had common sense.
Bad Bunny Town.
Elmo rapping Bad Bunny songs.
Bad Bunny Town. Hi, Mr.
Hey. But I don't understand why Elmo needed to be in it. I thought Elmo had some common sense after he's been saying for years that Rocco was just a rock. Like, I thought it was established. But no. He thought, let's get on the Bad Bunny glaze train. And I don't think we should be hating on Bad Bunny, but like, was he that good? Was this show really that uniting? Did it really do all that for America? I don't think it did. I don't even think it divides anyone as much anymore. I think it's just, it's like, okay, it happened. Moving on. But a lot of people want to push it as this is a milestone that we need to talk about. Because, once again...
Listen, no one actually wanted to watch Bad Bunny. The only reason people watched the Super Bowl was to watch the Cadillac livery reveal.
Cadillac. Okay, to be fair, y'all, the Cadillac livery might just be the new best livery in F1. And I do love the Red Bulls, but that Cadillac...
The Red Bulls is gorgeous, but the Cadillac, it's so good. It's so good.
Austin goes to sleep dreaming about them.
No, I don't sleep about them.
You're right,
Or
he
dream
he
about
doesn't
them.
sleep at all, but he does daydream about them.
Honestly, I actually...
See? And he even bought a polo.
And a hoodie.
And a hoodie.
Yeah.
Choice. Anyway.
I got the Sergio Perez Cadillac Cadillac Red Bull hoodie.
And then what was the polo?
The Sergio Perez Cadillac polo.
Why did you need both?
Because it's freaking awesome.
Let's wrap
And the hoodie goes.
We're
Hoodie goes with the.
wrapping this up before you do something stupid like buy another Sergio Perez item. Anyway.
And next is Max Verstappen. Thank you.
Let's say thank you, everyone, one and all, for stepping into the doctor's office. We have diagnosed everything wrong with the world. I am Dr. Roan, and it's been my pleasure to work with you today. Now my unlicensed secretary, Austin, will escort you out into the great and dangerous world, and we shall see you.
Yeah, I'm unlicensed, and so are you.
Hey, it's only unlicensed in psychology, all right? I'm probably licensed in, regular medical school.
What kind of medical school have you gone to?
It's a good question for next week. Come back next time.